Let's talk today not about Joe Biden's accomplishments, but about the lack of scandal. One of the reasons that it is increasingly a focus of the right wing to talk about Joe Biden's age and supposed crimes for which they can never find any evidence is because of the total and complete absence of actual scandals from Joe Biden's presidency so far. There's an article or a commentary in which Furman University politics professor Danielle Vinson has talked about this and said the focus on Joe Biden's age is because there have been no real scandals in his administration. We're going to have likely a rematch in 2024 of the 2020 election. Since that election, Joe Biden has had a completely scandal-free presidency, and Trump has been charged in 4 criminal trials with 91 felony counts, has been found civilly liable of rape and defamation, fraud in New York, hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. And so in that environment, which is obviously a disaster for Donald Trump, they have to fabricate something. And what they're fabricating is, oh, Biden crimes and Biden is old. Now, I want to think through this issue of scandal because we have a situation right now where there isn't the tumult and the drama and the genuine scandal of past administrations. And we'll look at Obama, we will look at Trump. And so what you end up with in the absence of scandal is a sense of stability and a sense of narratives that in an ideal world comport more closely to the facts. And what we have today with Joe Biden's lack of scandal is a situation where the right is grasping at straws, generating and constructing and fabricating rather than simply reporting what is. For example, the charge that Biden is involved in crimes that involve him as a sort of mob leader figure. There's money from China and influence peddling and criminal bribery. None of it, after years of investigation, has led to any substantiated proof. And it's a really poignant example of the total lack of scandal that exists in reality and what they have to fabricate. The smaller the real scandal, the more hard to believe and absurd the trumped up fake scandals become. So the Republican Party is not focusing on policy disagreements with Joe Biden. They're not even really focusing on ideological differences other than every once in a while hurling socialist as an insult at Joe Biden. They are trying to tarnish the reputation of the administration, either through guilt by association when it comes to Hunter Biden, or just simply unfounded accusations, stuff that they are making up. Yes, it undermines the political discourse, but it also diverts attention from the policy accomplishments of Joe Biden, which I've explained many times. It's all they have. It's not a great strategy, but it's all they have. We then get to stories that they tell about the economy. Not only is there an absence of scandal under Joe Biden, we have an economy that, by all reasonable assessments, is pretty good. Donald Trump predicted in 2020 that if Joe Biden becomes president, we would see a recession, 1929 style stock market crash, horrible stuff. What happened is the opposite. Unemployment rates are consistently and persistently low. The stock market is hitting record highs almost every week. Many sectors have completely rebounded from their pandemic-induced downturns. It is true that although inflation is down, prices are still much higher than they were years ago because inflation is still positive, right? When inflation comes down, prices are still going up, just not by as much. Supply chain disruptions are still affecting a number of industries, and it has generated hurdles. Biden's doing what he can to deal with that, and he's being proactive rather than reactive. But because that is the status of the economy, they have to go to fabricating fake scandals. Now, critics could say that when you highlight the absence of a scandal, you are cheerleading for Joe Biden, merely cheerleading for Joe Biden. What I'm doing is acknowledging facts that are about promoting reality and truth over hyperbole and conjecture. And there were a number of scandals under prior presidents, including Democratic presidents, and they can be seen alongside accomplishments and policy failures. What it happens to be, the reality of what it happens to be under Biden, is no scandals and a bunch of pretty good accomplishments, as well as the desire from the progressive left like me to see Biden do more. So what I would, of course, love to see as we approach the 2024 election is for Republicans to come forward and really just focus on the policy of Biden that they disagree with. The problem is the disagreements that they have tend to be vague, often unsubstantiated, and completely counter to what the majority of the American people seem to want. So let's look at some prior presidents to kind of contextualize this. Even under Barack Obama, there was no shortage of criticism, right? There was policy I didn't like under Barack Obama. The scale up of drone warfare, for example, the not going far enough in terms of moving the economy in the direction of some of the successful policies we've seen implemented in socially democratic countries like those in Northern Europe, Sweden, Denmark, etc. But scandals under Obama, I mean, it's mostly nonsense. I'll build up to what I consider closer to maybe a real criticism, but you had the tan suit controversy with Obama, where he wore a tan suit on a day where he was discussing serious matters, and the tan suit didn't communicate seriousness. You had the infamous latte salute, where Barack Obama saluted a Marine, and in his saluting hand, he had a coffee cup, and it was viewed as disrespectful. You had Mustardgate, where Barack Obama was mocked for requesting Dijon at dinner. Obama. Right. And Dijon is tantamount to elitism. Real Americans use, I guess, yellow mustard or something like that. Completely trivial. You had, in terms of what they really tried to generate as a scandal, the birth certificate stuff, it was not trivial in its implications, right? Imagine it were true that the person who was president was not legally eligible to be president. That would be a big deal. But it was based on nothing other than Barack Obama's skin color. And even Donald Trump jumped in on that. And then in terms of, the Solyndra loan controversy, not everybody may remember this, but the Obama administration was criticized because the Department of Energy made a $500 million loan guarantee to Solyndra. It's a solar panel company. The company later went bankrupt, and people on the right were raising questions about vetting processes for loan guarantees. Ultimately, there was no wrongdoing. The company just went bankrupt, and the truth is that those monies were used to fund a bunch of companies. And now in the context of the abortive PPP slush fund that was administered under Trump, the Solyndra thing seems so mild. And then lastly, the Fast and Furious operation. This was this ATF operation, which was intended to track guns from the U.S. that make it into Mexico. The idea was to use it to capture drug lords. The guns were lost, and one gun was used in the murder of an American border agent. The operation had flaws. There was no substantiated cover-up by the Obama administration, which is what they went after him for. So under Obama, there was also kind of a notable lack of scandal, but it's even more significantly notable the total absence of scandals under Biden. I'll come back to Afghanistan in a moment for those who are thinking of that. And then, listen, under Trump, multiple impeachments over serious wrongdoing, the first one for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, the second one with incitement of insurrection over January 6, 2021. You had the Russia stuff where, yes, we didn't get video of Trump and Russia plotting together. I don't know who was expecting that, but significant Russian efforts to influence the election, Trump's handling of classified information, both while in office and immediately after. This goes back to 2017 with Russians in the Oval Office, later post-presidency, waving classified documents around, the hush money payments directly related to his campaign involving Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, the Ukraine scandal, which was central to Trump's first impeachment, Trump soliciting Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, the Trump Foundation ordered shut down and dissolved over using those donated funds as a slush fund, the family separation policy at the U.S.-Mexico border, authoritarian attempts to silence media he didn't like, the travel ban fiasco, the Puerto Rico hurricane response, firing James Comey to stop the investigation into him, that horrible Lafayette Square photo incident where police cleared it so Trump could take a picture with a Bible, trying to steal the 2020 election, inciting a riot on January 6th, allegedly committing 91 crimes. I could go on. COVID response. And so the scandal that was rampant under Trump is gone under Biden. Now, let me talk about Afghanistan. I've said before, the withdrawal from Afghanistan that Joe Biden executed was the same one that Trump was promising to execute, except he didn't do it. Was it chaotic? It was. And I don't know how it wouldn't be after 20 years in Afghanistan. Trump now says, remember, for months, Trump said Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan was a disaster. When he was asked, what would you have done differently? He didn't really say. Eventually, Trump started to articulate, well, I would have taken our equipment. I wouldn't have left our equipment. And nobody would have died. A number of service members died during the withdrawal. Trump says nobody would have died if I was in charge. We have no real reason to think Trump would have done it any differently because he's saying it now with the benefit of hindsight of how Biden did it. It was the right decision to get out. It was destined to be chaotic, but it certainly doesn't count as a scandal, that's for sure. So again, if we zoom out, good economy, no major scandals, and a rematch of 2020 with a Trump as the Republican candidate, most likely, who is significantly weaker, I would argue, than 2020. All of that looks good for Joe Biden, but nothing is guaranteed. His approval rating isn't exactly titillating, and every single one of us has to go out and vote if we want to ensure that the right outcome takes place. Am I missing a genuine, bona fide Joe Biden scandal? Let me know. info@davidpakman.com or leave a comment on our YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. If I am genuinely missing a Joe Biden scandal, I will come to you tomorrow with tears in my eyes and hat in hand and say, I'm so sorry. Here's the Biden scandal that I missed. Let me know. If you could use a little help meeting your weight loss goal for 2024, give our sponsor, PhD Weight Loss, a call. They've been doing some amazing things for people. They make the weight loss journey simple. They do one-on-one coaching with their certified team of compassionate, encouraging dietitians. PhD Weight Loss helps real people get results through lifestyle modification based on protocols from successful clinical trials. You get an initial consultation, you review your history, your lifestyle, your goals. You create a customized plan of action. It includes food and lifestyle. And then their team of dietitians and counselors are at your disposal every step of the way. If weight loss is something you're working on, check out PhD Weight Loss. No severe calorie restriction, no medications, pills, or supplements, unsustainable exercise routines, none of that stuff. PhD Weight Loss has an approach that focuses on behavioral change, nutrition education, and they take an overarching holistic approach to your body and habits. The founder, Dr. Lucas, is offering a free workshop just for my audience on February 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern, where you can learn more about PhD weight loss, why weight gain isn't your fault, evidence-based approaches you can implement on your own right away to improve your health. Sign up for the free workshop at davidpakman.com/PhD. They've helped over 7,500 people drop weight. You could be next. The link is down below.